In Learning Goal 40, we're going to be taking a look at how do we divide a polynomial by a monomial. Now, previously, we've taken a look at how do we multiply a monomial to a polynomial, and dividing is very similar, and so it's just kind of the opposite operations, but we do it very similarly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a review of multiplying. Let's remember that when we multiply two monomials together, the first thing that we do is we multiply the coefficients together. Coefficients together, and this answer that we get is going to be the new coefficient. Okay, so it's going to be a new coefficient. So in the case that we have as an example here, we have 3 times 2, and I'll quickly put that in there. So we have 3 times 2, and so our new coefficient is going to be 6. The next thing that we need to do is we need to collect the variables together. Now, multiply the variables, it's very similar. We need to collect the variables together. That's the way I'm going to describe it, at least. If there is more than one of a single type of variable, we need to put the amount as an exponent. Now, 1 is very simply just going to be one of them. In this case here, we have 1x, but here we have more than 1x. So we're going to put them together, and I'm going to write them out here. So we're going to have x, and we're going to have x squared y. If you look in here, we have 2 x's and 1 x, so that is 3 x's, and there's only 1 y, so we're just going to leave it as y. Okay, you can put a 1 there if you really want to, but we don't really ever do that. We always just leave it the way it is. Now, the final thing that we need to do is we want to put the new coefficient and the collection of variables that we have together into a single term. Okay, so again, this is when we're multiplying a monomial to a monomial. We put them together into a single term, and that is going to look like, let's start with, okay, so we're going to take these and we're going to put them together. Okay, and what we're going to get out of there is a 6 in front and then x cubed y. Okay, so that's our new monomial, or a new term. Okay, so there's our new term. Now, let's get this here. When a monomial is multiplied to a polynomial, the monomial is multiplied as above, so just as we did here, to each term in the polynomial. Okay, so we've got to look at each term in the polynomial. Now the answer will have the same number of terms as the polynomial inside the brackets had. Okay, so here we had 1 term inside the brackets, we got 1 term as our answer. In this case here, we have 3 terms inside of our brackets. Okay, we have a 3-term polynomial or a trinomial, so our answer is going to have 3 terms. Now, when we do this here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this negative 2d and we're going to multiply it to the d squared. We're going to multiply it to the negative 3d, and we're going to multiply it to the 4. Okay, so we're going to multiply it 3 times. And I'm going to do each one of those statements just on its own here. So we're going to do negative 2d times d squared. Now, negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. D and d squared is d cubed. Next, we're going to do again negative 2d times negative 3d. And now we have a negative 2 and a negative 3, which is positive 6. And we have 2 d's, one in each of them. So we're going to have d squared. And finally, negative 2d times 4. Negative 2d and 4 is negative 8. There is 1d, only 1 in the first one. So we have negative 8d. We combine all 3 of those. Now again, we're going to have 3 terms because we have 3 terms here. So we have 3 individual terms. And so this is going to be negative 2d cubed plus 6d squared minus 8d. You'll notice three individual terms, which each term has been multiplied by the monomial. That's multiplying. Again, that is a review of multiplying polynomials. We do coefficients together, and then we do the variables together. You notice here we add, just like we have with our exponent laws, we add them together. Okay, so that is a part of when we multiply terms with a polynomial.